The transformation was stunning. Imani, at what would be 5 months in a normal pregnancy, but was actually only 3 months with Kang genetics, had a prominent round belly that she carried like the most beautiful thing in the world. She glowed. Literally glowed. Her skin was radiant. Her natural coiled hair was thicker than ever, and she moved with this serene grace that made everyone who saw her smile. Zola, at 2 months, but showing more like 3 weeks in a normal pregnancy, had the tiniest bump that was just becoming noticeable under her clothes. She was in the angry phase, morning sickness that lasted all day, hormones making her want to fight everyone, and a possessiveness over Imani that made her more protective than ever. I swear if one more person touches your belly without permission, I'm breaking fingers, Zola growled, watching another society wife at the charity brunch reach for Imani's bump. Imani laughed, gently moving the woman's hand away. It's fine. People are curious. It's invasive and rude, Zola countered. Kangdae, standing slightly behind both his wives in his signature black suit with his tattoos on full display, smiled slightly. His protective, pregnant wife defending his other protective, pregnant wife. It was everything he'd hoped for when he chose them. They were at a mandatory social event, the kind where the wealthy elite of Seoul gathered to pretend they cared about charity while really just showing off wealth and connections. Normally, Kangdae avoided these, but his mother had insisted. Besties, if you're jumping straight into part 3 without watching parts 1 and 2, what are you doing? You need the full experience. But let me give you the fastest, most dramatic recap ever because part 3 is about to be wild. Part 1, Zola and Imani, drowning in debt, walked into a Mafia casino and met Kangdae, a 6'4" Korean emperor with dragon tattoos and a shocking proposition. Marry me. Both of you. Give me 2 heirs in 1 year and all your debts disappear. They signed the contract, moved into his fortress mansion with an emperor-sized bed, and had a wedding night that changed all 3 of them forever. Fire and water. Red and white. 2 queens for 1 emperor. But when his mother showed up throwing insults and Imani fainted, we left you on a cliffhanger. Part 2. The doctor revealed Imani was pregnant in less than 48 hours because Kang genetics are insane. While Imani celebrated, Zola struggled with the fear of not being enough. Kangdae took his wives public at a charity gala, announcing to all of Seoul, "These are my wives." Both of them. The backlash was brutal. Rival organization threatened his pregnant wife, so Kangdae systematically destroyed their entire empire in 1 week. Through board confrontations, public scrutiny, and fertility struggles, the sisterhood grew stronger. And finally, the second pregnancy test came back positive. Both wives pregnant. Both carrying his heirs. The emperor finally had his complete family. Now it's been 3 months since that double pregnancy reveal. Imani is showing significantly because of accelerated Kang genetics. Zola is just starting to show. The board is satisfied. The public is obsessed. But besties, the real challenges are just beginning. Because when you're carrying the heirs to a mafia empire, everyone becomes a threat. And when an emperor's pregnant wives are targeted, he doesn't just protect them, he goes to absolute war. Part 3 is where everything escalates. The pregnancies, the danger, the passion, the stakes. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button right now because this series is building to something explosive and you do not want to miss a single episode. Seriously, subscribe now. I'll wait. Ready? Let's go. You need to show the world that your arrangement is stable, happy, and producing results, she'd said during one of her now regular training sessions with the wives. Let them see your pregnant wives thriving. Let them see you as a family man, not just a crime lord. His mother had become an unexpected ally. After her apology and her offer to train them, she'd actually followed through. She taught them everything, how to read a room, how to make alliances, how to destroy enemies with carefully chosen words, how to dress, how to carry themselves as queens. You've done well, she'd told them last week, looking at both pregnant bellies with something that might have been pride. Better than I expected. Now, at this brunch, Zola and Imani were putting those lessons to use. They worked the room together, always touching, holding hands, arms linked, supporting each other. They presented as a united front, and the effect was powerful. Your wives are quite the sensation, Director Park from the board said, approaching Kangdae. The media can't get enough of them. Good, Kangdae said simply. Though some of the older families still disapprove of the arrangement. I don't care. Kangdae's voice was flat. They can disapprove all they want. My wives are pregnant with my heirs. The line is secured. Their opinions are irrelevant. Director Park nodded carefully. Of course. I merely wanted to inform you that there's been chatter. Some families see this as an opportunity to challenge your position. Kangdae's eyes went cold. Let them try. Across the room, Zola suddenly went pale. I need to sit down. Now. Imani was immediately there, guiding her to a chair. Morning sickness? All-day sickness, Zola corrected miserably. Why do they call it morning sickness when it never stops? Kangdae was there in seconds, kneeling in front of Zola despite the stares it garnered. The emperor on his knees for his wife, it was a powerful image. Do we need to leave? He asked quietly. No, I'm fine. Just give me a minute. We're leaving, he decided. You're uncomfortable, you're miserable, and I don't give a damn about this brunch. But your mother said. My mother isn't pregnant with twins, he interrupted. Then paused. You're not carrying twins, right? Dr. Han would have told us. Despite her nausea, Zola laughed. No, just one incredibly persistent baby who hates all food. He helped her stand, one arm around her waist, then offered his other arm to Imani. Together, the three of them made their exit, leaving a room full of whispers behind them. Besties. The way this man prioritizes his wife's comfort over social obligations? Comment priorities if you think Kangdae is setting the standard for husbands everywhere. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Back at the compound, Kangdae had a surprise waiting. I've been working on this for weeks, he said, leading them to a wing of the mansion they rarely visited. I wanted it perfect before I showed you. He opened double doors to reveal two complete nurseries, side by side, connected by an open archway. The left nursery was done in warm reds and golds, vibrant, energetic, bold. Everything Zola. The right nursery was done in soft whites and creams, serene, peaceful, elegant. Everything Imani. But they shared the middle space, a sitting area where the mothers could be together, where the babies could see each other, where the family could gather. Both women burst into tears immediately. You made them connected, Imani sobbed. So they'll always be together. Like us, Zola added, also crying. Like we're always together. Kangdae pulled them both close, his hands protectively on their growing bellies. Our children will grow up knowing their family. Not half-siblings. Not rivals. Family. Just like you two are family. What if they're both girls? Imani asked. Or both boys. Then we'll have two princesses or two princes, Kangdae said simply. I don't care about gender. I care that they're healthy and loved. The board wanted boys, Zola reminded him. The board got what they asked for heirs. They don't get to dictate gender. His voice was firm. Dr. Han is coming next week to tell us what we're having. Whatever she says, we celebrate. That night, in their massive emperor bed, the dynamic had shifted to accommodate the pregnancies. Imani, being further along, needed more pillows, more support, more gentle positioning. Zola's morning sickness meant she often needed to get up quickly, so she slept on the outside. But Kangdae made sure both felt equally loved, equally desired, equally his. I know we can't do everything we used to, Imani said softly. My body is different now. Your body is growing, my child, Kangdae interrupted. It's perfect. You're perfect. I feel huge, she admitted. You're beautiful. He pressed kisses to her belly, feeling the baby move under his lips. Carrying life. Creating our future. There's nothing more beautiful. Then he turned to Zola. And you fighting through sickness, growing stronger every day, refusing to let pregnancy slow you down. His hand found her small bump. You're a warrior. I'm a mess, Zola corrected. I cried because you bought the wrong brand of crackers yesterday. Hormones are real, Imani agreed sympathetically. But Kangdae showed them both, with touch and words and worship, that pregnancy hadn't made them less desirable to him. If anything, seeing them carry his children made him more possessive, more passionate, more devoted. What followed was gentle but intense, adapted to Imani's needs, careful of her belly, but no less passionate. And Zola, despite her nausea and exhaustion, needed to feel connected, needed to feel desired, needed to know she was still his fire. He gave them both what they needed. Different approaches for different women, but equal devotion. The way he positioned Imani carefully, supporting her belly with pillows, making sure she was comfortable and safe while still making her feel worshipped, it was beautiful. The way he met Zola's fierce need with matching intensity, showing her that pregnancy hadn't diminished his desire for her, it was everything. And the way Imani stayed involved despite not being the primary focus, holding Zola's hand, whispering encouragement, being present, it reinforced that they were a unit. By the time they all fell asleep, tangled together with his hands protectively on both their bellies, they were completely satisfied and completely connected. This is what love looks like when it's built on respect, communication, and genuine care for everyone involved. Comment below, Gentle Emperor, if you're loving how Kangdae adapts to their changing needs. This man is setting standards. Dr. Han arrived for the scheduled ultrasound with her equipment and her usual professional demeanor. Ready to find out what you're having? She asked. All three of them were nervous. Kangdae sat between his wives on the couch, arms around both, trying to project calm despite his racing heart. Imani first, Dr. Han decided. Since you're further along. Imani lay back and Dr. Han applied the gel and wand. The baby appeared on screen immediately, much bigger now, clearly formed, moving around. Healthy heartbeat, good size for gestational age, well, for Kong gestational age, Dr. Han smiled. Would you like to know the gender? Yes, all three said simultaneously. Dr. Han moved the wand, checking angles. You're having a girl. Silence. Then, Imani burst into happy tears. A daughter. We're having a daughter. Kangdae's expression was unreadable for a moment, then broke into the biggest smile they'd ever seen from him. A princess. We're having a princess. He kissed Imani deeply, then pressed kisses all over her belly. My daughter. My little girl. Zola was crying too, squeezing Imani's hand. A girl. We're having a girl. Dr. Han smiled at the display, then turned to Zola. Ready? Zola's nervousness was palpable as she lay back. She was earlier in pregnancy, so the baby was smaller, harder to see. But Dr. Han found it quickly. There's your baby. Also healthy, good heartbeat, right on track. And she moved the wand, checked angles. You're also having a girl. The scream that came from all three of them could probably be heard throughout the compound. 2 girls. Imani sobbed. 2 daughters. 2 princesses. Zola was crying and laughing simultaneously. Kangdae looked like someone had just handed him the entire world. 2 daughters. 2 little girls who will grow up together. 2 princesses. After Dr. Han left with instructions and congratulations, the 3 of them just sat together in stunned joy. The board wanted boys, Zola finally said. The board can go to hell, Kangdae said firmly. We're having daughters. My daughters will inherit everything. They'll be just as powerful, just as feared, just as respected as any son would have been. More so, because they'll have to be twice as strong to overcome the prejudice. They'll have us, Imani said softly. 2 mothers who will teach them everything. And a father who will burn down the world to protect them, Kangdae added. Just like I do for you. That night, they celebrated. Quietly, intimately, just the 3 of them. And Kangdae showed both his wives what it meant to be loved by a man who was about to have 2 daughters. His protective instincts were at maximum, his possessiveness was overwhelming, and his passion was intense. You're giving me daughters, he kept saying between kisses, between touches, between moments of overwhelming connection. You're both giving me little girls who will be beautiful and fierce and perfect because they're OURS. The celebration was adapted to their pregnant bodies, but no less passionate. Careful positioning, extra pillows, constant checking that they were comfortable, but the intensity was there. He made love to both of them like they'd given him the greatest gift in the world. Because they had. Besties. 2 girls. Comment twin princesses if you're emotional about these babies being daughters. The representation. The power. The future. And hit that like button if you're loving this story. The next board meeting was tense. Girls, Director Kim said, his disapproval obvious. Both pregnancies resulted in girls. Yes, Kangdae said calmly. My daughters. The traditional line of succession has been updated, Kangdae interrupted. We discussed this. Gender is irrelevant. My daughters will inherit. But the organization has always been led by men. Until now. Kangdae's voice was ice. My daughters will be raised to lead. They'll be trained from birth. They'll know this world, understand this business, command respect. Their gender won't be a weakness, it'll be an asset because everyone will underestimate them. Like everyone underestimated us, Zola said quietly from her position flanking him. She was showing more now, the bump visible under her red dress. People assumed 2 foreign women couldn't handle this world. Look at us now. Pregnant, producing heirs, managing social circles, making alliances, and destroying enemies with words instead of weapons. Imani added softly, but firmly from his other side, her much larger belly prominent in her cream dress. Your sons couldn't do better. The board members had no response to that. The matter is settled, Kangdae said with finality. My daughters will inherit. If anyone has a problem with that, I invite you to voice it now so I can remove you from this board permanently. Silence. Good. Meeting adjourned. As they left, Kangdae's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. 2 girls? How disappointing. Such vulnerable little targets. His blood went cold. What's wrong? Zola asked immediately, seeing his expression. He showed them the message. Both women went pale. Who sent that? Imani asked, her hand instinctively going to her belly. I don't know. Yet? His voice was deadly calm. But I'll find out. And they'll regret it. Security was immediately tripled. The compound became a fortress within a fortress. Neither wife was allowed outside without a full detail. Dr. Han was brought in to stay on site until the births. This is insane, Zola said, pacing their bedroom despite her pregnancy. We're prisoners in our own home. You're protected in our home, Kangdae corrected. Someone just threatened our unborn daughters. I'm not taking chances. For how long? Imani asked quietly. Until they're born? Until they're adults? We can't live like this forever. Until I find who sent that message and eliminate the threat. His voice was final. I've already got my best people tracing it. What followed were 2 weeks of lockdown. 2 weeks of increasing tension. 2 weeks of Kangdae becoming more controlling, more protective, more paranoid. 2 weeks of his wives growing frustrated, scared, and restless. Until finally, one of his security chiefs came to him with information. We traced the message. You're not going to like it. It came from inside the organization, the security chief said. From Director Kim's personal phone. The rage that crossed Kangdae's face was terrifying. Are you certain? His voice was deadly quiet. Completely. We have the digital trail. Kangdae stood, every inch the emperor. Call an emergency board meeting. All directors. Mandatory attendance. 1 hour. He turned to his wives. Stay here. Don't leave this room. Security will be posted outside. What are you going to do? Imani asked nervously. His smile was cold. Make an example. The emergency board meeting was unlike any before. Kangdae walked in alone, no wives flanking him this time, and his presence was menacing. Director Kim, he said calmly. Did you send a threatening message to my personal phone 2 weeks ago? The room went silent. Director Kim paled. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie. Kangdae's voice dropped. We traced it. We have evidence. You threatened my unborn daughters. They're girls. Director Kim exploded, standing. The organization deserves male heirs. Strong leaders. Not some half-foreign girls who will. He didn't get to finish. Kangdae moved with deadly speed, grabbing the older man by the throat and slamming him down onto the boardroom table. My daughters, Kangdae said, his voice barely controlled rage, are off limits. My wives are off limits. You don't get to threaten them. You don't get to question their value. You don't even get to think about them without respect. Director Kim struggled, gasping. You have 2 choices, Kangdae continued. 1, resign immediately, leave Korea, and never come back. 2, I handle this the old way. What will it be? I resign, Director Kim choked out. Kangdae released him, and the man collapsed, gasping. You have 24 hours to be out of the country, Kangdae said coldly. If you're not, option 2 becomes automatic. And Director Kim, he leaned close. If anything happens to my wives or daughters, anywhere in the world, I will find you. I will find everyone you love. And you will all suffer before you die. Am I clear? Director Kim nodded frantically. Kangdae turned to the rest of the board. Anyone else have objections to my daughters inheriting? Speak now. Absolute silence. Good. Meeting adjourned. When he returned to his wives, they saw immediately what had happened, the dangerous energy still radiating from him, the barely controlled violence. Is it over? Zola asked. It's over, he confirmed. Director Kim is leaving the country. The threat is eliminated. Did you kill him? Imani asked softly. No, but I wanted to. He pulled them both close. He threatened you. He threatened our daughters. Every instinct I have wanted to end him. But I didn't. Because you don't need me to be a monster. You need me to be a father. You're both, Zola said. Monster to our enemies, father to our daughters, husband to us. That's what makes you perfect for this life. That night, the relief, the adrenaline, the overwhelming emotion all came to a head. Kangdae needed to claim his wives, needed to reassert that they were his, protected, safe. The pregnancy sex was different now, more emotional, more intense, more about connection than just pleasure. He was so careful with Imani's prominent belly, supporting it, making sure she was comfortable, but the possessiveness in every touch, every kiss, every movement was overwhelming. Mine, he kept saying. My wife. My daughter. Mine. Protected. Safe. And with Zola, whose smaller bump still allowed more flexibility, he channeled all that dangerous energy into passionate claiming. No one threatens you, he growled. No one touches you. No one even thinks about harming what's mine. Both women gave themselves over completely to his need to protect, to claim, to possess. And when they finally collapsed together, thoroughly satisfied and completely connected, the fear had transformed into something stronger, absolute trust that he would protect them and their daughters against anything. Comment protected if you trust Kangdae to keep his family safe. And if you're not subscribed, now is the time. The births are coming and you don't want to miss it. The last month was intense. Imani, at what would be 8 months in a normal pregnancy, but was only 6 months with Kang genetics, was huge. Her belly was massive, and she moved slowly, carefully, always supported by either Zola or Kangdae or both. Zola, at 5 months, looked more like 7 months in a normal pregnancy. Her bump was pronounced, and she'd finally stopped with the all-day sickness, much to everyone's relief. Both were glowing, beautiful, and increasingly impatient to meet their daughters. "I can't see my feet anymore," Imani complained one afternoon, lying on the bed. "I'll paint your toenails," Zola offered, settling at the end of the bed. "What color?" "Red," Imani decided. "Like you." So Zola painted Imani's toenails red while Imani painted Zola's cream. Their signature colors, swapped in support. Kangdae walked in to find them giggling, playing with nail polish, and his heart clenched. His wives. His daughters. His family. "Dr. Han says Imani could deliver any time in the next 2 weeks," he said. "We need to be ready." "I'm ready now," Imani said. "Get this baby out." "Soon," he promised, kneeling to feel her belly. The baby kicked against his hand, and his smile was pure joy. "Soon, little one." They decided on names weeks ago. Imani's daughter, Amara Kong, meaning grace, strength immortal. Zola's daughter, Zuri Kang, meaning beautiful, good. Amara and Zuri Kang, Kangdae said, testing the names. "My daughters. My princesses." "Your heirs," Zola corrected. "Your successors." "Yes," he agreed. "My successors who will rule this empire better than any son could have. Because they'll have you too as mothers." That night, his phone rang. His mother. "I heard about Director Kim," she said without preamble. "Well done. You protected your family without starting a war. You're learning." "I had good teachers," he said, glancing at his pregnant wives. "The girls will be here soon," his mother continued. "I want to be there. To meet my granddaughters. If you'll allow it." Kangdae looked at Zola and Imani, who both nodded. "You can come," he decided. "But the same rules apply, disrespect them, and you're out." "I wouldn't dream of it," his mother said. "They've impressed me. Both of them. They're stronger than I expected. Your daughters will be formidable." After hanging up, Kangdae pulled his wives close. "My mother wants to meet her granddaughters." "That's good," Imani said. "Family should meet family." "Even complicated family," Zola agreed. They were building something new. A family that didn't follow traditional rules but worked. 3 parents for 2 daughters. Unconventional but strong. It happened at 3 a.m. Imani woke with a gasp. Something's wrong. Immediately, both Kangdae and Zola were alert. "What's wrong?" Kangdae demanded. I think my water just broke." The next hour was chaos. Dr. Han was called. The medical team assembled. Imani was moved to the prepared birthing suite, a fully equipped medical room in the compound, because there was no way Kangdae was letting his wife give birth in a public hospital. "It's too early," Imani kept saying. "It's only 6 months. 6 months Kong time is about 8.5 months normal time," Dr. Han reminded her calmly. "Your daughter is fully developed. She's ready." The labor was fast. Kong genetics accelerated everything, including birth. Kangdae stayed at Imani's side, holding her hand, letting her squeeze until his bones creaked, whispering encouragement. Zola stayed at her other side, crying, supporting, being there. "One more push," Dr. Han instructed. And then, a baby's cry. Strong, healthy, loud. "It's a girl," Dr. Han announced, holding up a squalling, beautiful baby with a head full of black hair and pale skin that would darken with time and eyes that were already showing promise of being large and expressive. "Amara," Imani sobbed. "My Amara." Dr. Han placed the baby on Imani's chest, and the world stopped. She was perfect. Tiny but healthy, crying lustily, already showing personality. Kangdae was crying. Actual tears streaming down his face as he looked at his daughter, for the first time. "She's perfect," he whispered. "She's absolutely perfect." Zola was also crying, one hand on Imani's shoulder, the other gently touching the baby's tiny fist. "She's beautiful," Zola breathed. "Imani, she's beautiful." "She's ours," Imani said, looking at both of them. "All of ours." After the medical team cleaned and checked Amara, declaring her completely healthy at 6 pounds 8 ounces, they placed her back with her mother's. Kangdae held his daughter for the first time, and the emotion on his face was everything. This dangerous, powerful, feared emperor holding a tiny baby like she was made of glass. "Hello, Amara," he whispered. "I'm your father. And I promise you, nothing in this world will ever hurt you. You will be strong, you will be fierce, and you will be loved." Then he placed her in Zola's arms so her other mother could hold her. "Hello, baby girl," Zola said softly. "I'm your other mama. And I promise I'll love you just as much as your mama Imani. You're mine too." The baby girl, Amara Kong, opened her eyes, deep brown, already curious, and looked up at her 3 parents. And just like that, their family grew. "Besties, baby Amara is here and she's perfect." Comment, "Welcome Amara," to celebrate the first princess. And if you're not subscribed yet, Zuri's birth is coming and you need to see it. Subscribe now. 6 weeks later, when Amara was sleeping through most nights and Imani was mostly recovered, Zola went into labor. "It's time," she said calmly at breakfast. Kangdae immediately went into crisis mode. "Dr. Han. Medical team. Now." "Calm down," Zola said, even as a contraction made her wince. "We have time." They didn't have as much time as they thought. Zola's labor was fast, even faster than Imani's. 2 hours from first contraction to, "She's crowning," Dr. Han announced. One more push. And then, another baby's cry. Different from Amara's, higher-pitched, more demanding. "Another girl," Dr. Han said, placing the baby on Zola's chest. "A beautiful, healthy girl." Zuri Kang was perfect. More hair than Amara had had, darker skin that showed her mother's rich tones, and lungs that could probably be heard in the next province. "She's loud," Zola laughed through tears. "She's perfect and loud." "She's fierce," Kangdae said, emotion thick in his voice. Like her mother. Imani, holding baby Amara, who was now 6 weeks old, moved close. "Zola, she's gorgeous." When Zuri was cleaned and checked, 7 pounds 2 ounces, completely healthy, they had a moment that was everything. Both mothers, both babies, one father. Their complete family. Kangdae held both his daughters, one in each arm, and the look on his face was transcendent. "My princesses," he whispered. "Amara. Zuri. My daughters." The babies, meeting for the first time outside the womb, seemed to sense each other. Amara's tiny hand found Zuri's, and they held on. "They're sisters," Imani said softly. "They're family," Zola corrected. "Just like us." That night, with both babies sleeping in their connected nurseries, monitored by staff and security, the 3 parents collapsed in their emperor bed. "We did it," Imani whispered. "We have 2 beautiful daughters." "We have a family," Kangdae corrected. "Built against all odds, judged by everyone, but oh you rest." "What happens now?" Zola asked. "Now we raise them," Kangdae said simply. "We teach them to be strong. We show them love. We prepare them to inherit an empire. And we protect them," Imani added. "With everything we have," Kangdae agreed. "They're the future. Our future. The empire's future." As they fell asleep, holding each other, the sound of both babies breathing through the monitors, they knew this was just the beginning. 1 month after Zuri's birth, when both babies were healthy and both mothers were recovered, Kangdae made an announcement. "It's time to present our daughters to the organization, to the board, to the world." "They're so young," Imani worried. "Which is why we do it now. Establish them as my heirs from the beginning. No room for challenge later." The presentation was held at the compound, a formal reception where the board, allies, business associates, and key organization members would meet the Kang heirs. Amara, at 2 months old, was alert and curious, dressed in a tiny cream dress that matched Imani's gown. Zuri, at 1 month old, was still in the sleepy phase, dressed in a tiny red dress that matched Zola's gown. Kangdae wore his signature black suit, his neck tattoos on full display. Together, they walked into the reception hall, both mothers carrying their daughters, Kangdae between them, projecting absolute authority. The room fell silent. "These are my daughters," Kangdae announced. "Amara Kang and Zuri Kang. My heirs. The future of this organization. You will respect them. You will protect them. You will serve them as you serve me." He looked around the room with cold eyes. "Anyone who has a problem with my daughters inheriting, leave now. Otherwise, you swear loyalty to them as you have to me." No one moved. "Then step forward and greet your future queens." One by one, board members, associates, and organization leaders approached. They bowed to the babies. Actual beaux. To 2 tiny girls. Some did it with genuine respect. Some did it with barely concealed resentment. But they all did it. "Your daughters are beautiful," Director Park said, approaching. He'd replaced Director Kim after the resignation. "They will make formidable leaders." "Yes," Kangdae said simply. "They will." Kangdae's mother approached last, and for a moment, tension filled the air. Then she smiled, genuinely smiled, and gently touched Amara's cheek, then Zuri's. "My granddaughters," she said softly. "They're perfect. Both of them." She looked at Zola and Imani. "You've done well. Both of you. These girls will change everything." After the reception, in their private quarters, Zola and Imani fed their daughters while Kangdae watched. "What are you thinking?" Imani asked. "That I have everything," he said simply. 2 wives who I love. 2 daughters who I would die for. A family that works against all logic but works. An empire secure for another generation. "We did it," Zola said softly. "Against all odds, we actually did it." "We're not done," Kangdae corrected. "This is just the beginning. We have to raise these girls. Protect them. Prepare them. The threats will come. The challenges will come. But we'll face them together." Together, both women agreed. As they put their daughters down for the night, watching Amara and Zuri sleeping side by side in their connected nurseries, they knew they'd created something special. A family built on contract but sustained by love. An empire inherited by daughters instead of sons. A future that looked nothing like the past, but everything like hope. The emperor and his 2 queens had done the impossible. And they were just getting started. 6 months had passed since Zuri's birth. Amara was 8 months old, already trying to crawl, curious about everything. Zuri was 7 months old, laughing at everything, the loudest baby in the compound. They were growing up together, side by side, always reaching for each other, already inseparable. "They're going to be trouble," Zola predicted, watching Amara deliberately knock over Zuri's toy blocks just to make her sister laugh. "They're going to be powerful," Kangdae corrected. "Look at them. Already forming alliances. Already working together." The board had fully accepted the daughters as heirs. The organization was more profitable than ever. The rival families had backed off after seeing how thoroughly Kangdae protected his family. But today brought a new challenge. A message arrived. Not threatening this time, requesting. "The Lee family wants to arrange a marriage," Kangdae said, reading the formal proposal. "For Amara. To their grandson. When she comes of age." Both women's heads snapped up. "What?" "It's traditional," Kangdae said calmly. "Arranged marriages between powerful families. They're trying to ally with us." "Amara is 8 months old," Zola exploded. "She's not getting engaged. She's not getting arranged into anything," Imani agreed firmly. "Our daughters choose their own paths. Their own partners. Their own lives." Kangdae smiled. "That's what I told them. But they'll try again. And other families will too." Because our daughters are the most powerful marriage prospects in this world. Then we teach them to be strong enough to refuse, Zola said. We teach them they're worth more than alliances, Imani added. We teach them they have 3 parents who will support whatever they choose, Kangdae finished. That evening, they sat together in the nursery, each parent holding a baby, watching their daughters interact. What do you think they'll be like? Imani asked. When they're grown. Fierce, Zola said immediately. Like us. Strong, Kangdae added. Stronger than us because they'll have each other. Like you two had each other. They'll change the world, Imani predicted softly. 2 women leading a Mafia empire together? They'll rewrite every rule. Good, Kangdae said. Let them. We'll be here to support them every step. As they put their daughters down for the night, Amara and Zuri's tiny hands found each other through the crib bars, holding on even in sleep. 2 sisters, 2 heirs, 2 queens in training, and 3 parents who would do anything to protect them. The story that started with a debt, a contract, and an impossible proposition had become something real. Something lasting. Something beautiful. Epilogue, 1 year later. Mama, Amara called, taking wobbling steps toward Imani. At 19 months old, Kung genetics meant she developed faster. She was already walking, already talking, already showing her personality curious, gentle, thoughtful. Dada, Zuri yelled, running at full speed toward Kangdae. At 18 months old, she was pure chaos, loud, fearless, always getting into everything. The 4 adults, Kangdae, Zola, Imani, and now Kangdae's mother, who had become a fixture in their lives, watched the toddlers play in the garden. They're so different, Kangdae's mother observed. But perfect together. Like their mothers, Kangdae said, looking at his wives with obvious affection. The past year had been everything. Challenges, yes. Late nights, absolutely. Diaper disasters, more than they could count. But also joy, laughter, love, and the satisfaction of watching their daughters grow. I got a message today, Zola said. From my mother. She wants to meet her granddaughters. And? Kangdae asked. I said yes. She can come next month. On our terms with security, but she can come. Family is complicated, Imani said softly. But it's still family. Speaking of family, Kangdae said, Dr. Han mentioned something when she came for the baby's checkup. Both women looked at him. She said whenever we're ready for more children, she's available. More. Zola and Imani said simultaneously. Eventually, he clarified. Not right now. But Amara and Zuri shouldn't be only children. They should have siblings. Brothers, sisters, more family. Are you suggesting? Zola started. I'm saying our family isn't finished growing, Kangdae said. When you're both ready. No rush. But I want a big family. Lots of children. Lots of chaos. Lots of love. Imani and Zola exchanged glances, then smiled. Eventually, Imani agreed. When we're ready, Zola added. But right now, both said together, we have our hands full with these 2. As if on cue, Zuri grabbed Amara's toy, Amara yelled, and chaos erupted. 3 parents rushed to mediate, laughing, loving, living. This was their life. Unconventional, complicated, judged by many, but theirs. The emperor and his 2 queens, raising their princesses, building their empire, creating their legacy. 1 love, 3 hearts, 2 daughters. Infinite possibilities. And it was only the beginning. Okay, besties. We've reached the end of part 3, and I am emotional. We watched these babies grow from tiny newborns to walking, talking toddlers. We saw the family face threats, overcome challenges, and build something real. But before we wrap up, I need to know. Comment, part 4, if you want to see what happens when Amara and Zuri grow up. Do they follow in their parents' footsteps? Do they rebel? Do they take over the empire? Do Zola and Imani have more babies? What happens with Kangdae's mother? Does anyone challenge the daughter's inheritance? This story can keep going. We can follow these girls through childhood, through teenage years, through taking over the empire. We can explore more pregnancy if Kangdae gets his wish for a big family. We can dive into the daughters' relationships, their training, their future. But I need to know you want it. So here's what I need from you right now. Smash that subscribe button. Part 4 won't happen if you're not subscribed. I need to see those subscriber numbers to know you're invested. Hit the like button. Show me this story is worth continuing. Share this series with your friends who love AMEW romance, dark mafia stories, sister wives content, and strong female characters. Some questions for you. Do you want part 4 to jump ahead to when the daughters are older or continue with them as toddlers? Should Zola and Imani have more babies? How many? What threats should the family face next? Do you want the daughters to have arranged marriages or choose their own partners? Should we explore the daughters' personalities more? Amara, the gentle, thoughtful one versus Suri, the fierce, chaotic one? Comment your answers. I'm building part 4 based on your requests. I read every comment and I'll write what you want to see. Also, if you're new here and just binged all 3 parts, go back and watch from the beginning. Part 1 has the contract signing, the wedding night, and the first pregnancy reveal. Part 2 has the double pregnancy announcement, the public reveal, and the board confrontations. This story builds and you need the full experience. This series has given you contract marriage that turned into real love, 2 best friends becoming sister wives with toxic jealousy, a possessive Korean mafia emperor who worships both his wives equally, double pregnancy with accelerated genetics, gender reveal, 2 girls who will inherit an empire, birth scenes, family drama, threats eliminated, and daughters presented to the organization. A year of watching this family grow. And we're not done. The Kong Empire story is just beginning. Amara and Zuri's future is unwritten. More babies could be on the way. New threats will emerge. The daughters will grow up and face their own challenges. But only if you subscribe. I'm serious, besties. I need those subscriptions to know you want part 4. YouTube algorithm is wild, and if you're not subscribed, you'll miss when part 4 drops. So right now, right this second, go subscribe. Then come back and comment, subscribed plus part 4, so I know you're ready. Poll time. Comment. More babies if you want Zola and Imani pregnant again. Grown daughters if you want to jump ahead to Amara and Zuri as teenagers taking over. Toddler chaos if you want part 4 to continue with them as babies/toddlers. All of it if you want everything. I'll tally the comments and write part 4 based on what gets the most votes. Remember, besties, this is a fictional story, but the emotions are real. That's why you're invested. That's why you've watched for 3 parts. That's why you need to know what happens next. Don't leave this family hanging. They've been through so much. They deserve their happy ending. Or their next adventure. Or whatever comes next. Subscribe now. Comment now. Like now. And thank you, seriously, thank you for being on this journey with Kangdae, Zola, Imani, Amara, and Zuri. This story exists because of you. Your comments, your support, your enthusiasm. Let's keep it going. Let's see where this empire goes. Let's watch these princesses grow. Part 4 is in your hands. Show me you want it. Until next time, stay blessed, stay obsessed, and remember, you deserve a love that's powerful enough to create an empire. Now go subscribe. Purple Heart Crown Fire.